This week on football, Odegaard celebrates too much. Mikel Antonio finds out he's the 41st fastest player. He's gutted. Tom Garrett handles a carrot.
Look here, right, if you're not comfortable looking a in the face or a in your hand, there's something wrong with you, alright?
Haaland returns. And the Premier League sees a record high 45 goals in a week.
Tell me stories of all that are great. Cherish these days before it's too late. If you could turn around yourself.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Goalposts for Jumpers. It is me, Alex, and we have got a fun-filled show in store for you. Coming up this week, we've got a Two Lies and a Truth. We have got a couple of new features that we tried out last week. Now, don't get annoyed at me because one of them was the weekend treble, and we're now 2 for 2 in losses. But this week's weekend treble is coming in, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We've also got the fan captured goal of the week, and I'll be doing my team of the week as well. But first, I do want to mention something. I do want to say something that is going to get everyone riled up, as usual, as we do on this podcast. But this is a genuine opinion of mine. I think it's time that we start talking about Alisson. Now, I'm not saying he's a bad goalkeeper. I'm not saying he's even anything less than world class. But I'm saying Alisson is overrated. Every single time he makes a mistake, it feels like the media response, the commentator response, the pundits response is something along the lines of, you wouldn't have expected it from him. He's normally so great. He's normally so perfect. And then it's brushed under the carpet and we move on. And if Ramsdale makes a mistake or Onana makes a mistake or any of these top goalkeepers in the Premier League make a mistake, well, let's highlight that and make sure that we are discussing why this goalkeeper cannot play for this club. And I'm not saying Alisson can't play for Liverpool. He's a fantastic goalkeeper. He has been for a couple of years. But is he in the same conversation as the Premier League greats, the royalty of the goalkeeping conversation in this country? And I don't think he is. And I'm not saying, again, that he's not world class right now, but he doesn't have the credentials. I'm not seeing a goalkeeper who I rely on in the biggest games to pull you through and get you out of sticky situations. That Arsenal game on the weekend is a small amount of proof, in my opinion, that he is not a goalkeeper for the biggest games. And he does make mistakes and he does give the ball away and he does offer opponents opportunities to press, to try and force a mistake, puts pressure on his defence. And that mistake on the weekend, I just think he does a little too many for me to want to put him in the same class as Petr Cech, Peter Schmeichel. And, I mean, get angry if you like, but David De Gea. I think the goalkeeping situation, the goalkeeping argument, I understand if you are a Liverpool fan, the first reaction you've got in your head is, this is absolutely ridiculous, this guy doesn't know anything about football. I want to see 2-3 Premier League titles. I want to see a goalkeeping performance at a most crucial point in a season that then turns the tie and wins a trophy. I'm not saying he hasn't pulled out monumental performances, but season after season after season, David De Gea was the best goalkeeper. Not just the best goalkeeper, he was the best player at Man United. He was winning Golden Gloves, and he has been winning Golden Gloves even out of form. I don't see the credentials for Alisson, and I'm not saying he's not a world-class goalkeeper, but to put him on the same level as the likes of Petr Cech, no chance. He is royalty. Then Peter Schmeichel or Edwin van der Sar. And then even De Gea. I want to see 5 or 6 seasons where he is not just the best goalkeeper in the league, but also pulling his team through in the biggest games, the tightest moments, and winning titles. And he doesn't do that. And he seems to have a mistake in him in those crucial moments. That's all I'm saying. Feel free to send all hate towards me. It's Alex at Goalposts at doesn't know what he's talking about at goalkeepers.com. Okay, I did say I was going to do a team of the week. This week, I have watched an unbelievable amount of football. I have not stopped watching football. So it's been quite difficult to choose. But some positions were overfilled. So don't be offended. Once again, if you don't see your favourite player in there, it's my team of the week that I have seen live or in person. So if I've seen it on the TV, watch it on the TV, I want to see 90 minutes of a player to put him in. So starting off in goal is Mark Flecken. Right back, Pavard. Centre back, I've got Acerbi. I've also got Bastoni. Left back is Alex Moreno. Central midfield, Jorginho. Alongside him, Çalhanoğlu. And finishing off that midfield three is Phil Foden. On the right wing is Garnacho. Left wing is Martinelli. And striker, Rasmus Hojlund. I want to make a point about a couple of these players that does get to me, even though I've put them in my team of the week, it does get to me how quick people jump on the bandwagon that this player is the next big thing because they've had a great week. And I will try to refrain from doing that. But the reason I say that is because of the talk about Phil Foden. What a player, what a great player he is. But as soon as he pops up and scores a hat-trick, everyone's jumping on him like he's got to be in the starting lineup for England. He should be having a team built around him. Well, you didn't say that last week. Actually, in fact, Phil Foden was kind of in the mud up until recently. People saying he's overrated, that he was not turning up in the biggest games, didn't really do much for Man City. They'd win a title with or without him. And then he scores a hat-trick against Brentford and all of a sudden he's the best player in the world. Unbelievable performance from Phil Foden this week. Top quality. Absolutely love the guy. And don't get me wrong, I'd have him in my midfield three for England. I think I've said that before. But I'm not having him out right and I'm not having him out left. Saka, and look, argue all you want, but Rashford are the left wingers and right wingers. These are your biggest games, big game players. Phil Foden in midfield with Bellingham and Rice would be absolute magic. So yeah, I'm not knocking any of the two out from there, but Phil Foden, I think he's got to go in, and he had to go in my team of the week this week with a hat-trick. I also want to talk about Rasmus Hojlund. This is a player who I have had countless conversations with my friends, with fellow Man United fans, people at work, talking about this guy as he is some sort of donkey, that he can't perform in the Premier League, that he was a waste of money. Rasmus Hojlund is proving what a good investment he was and what potential he could have. Left foot, right foot, belting goal on the weekend with his right foot, now scoring and gathering a bit of pace. I think it was always going to be one of those with Hojlund. Every United fan saw from the first couple of games from him, even just the little cameos, there was something there. There was a player that not just wants to fight for his club, but has a belief, has a confidence. And that confidence started to drop. And it was a real hard moment for Rasmus Hojlund. But the personality to come through it, I think as a striker, if you've got the ability, look, he's strong, he's super quick, he can finish, he can play with his left foot and right foot and hold the ball up. Those are your prerequisites for a striker at top level football. The personality side of it is, I think, a good 50-60% of it. A personality takes you from being a decent striker to a world-class striker. And Rasmus Hojlund showing that personality, that at 20 years old, he's not going to let the pressure of the club, the fans, the media get on top of him. Through his drought, he kept performing, kept running, kept putting himself out there, wanting to be picked, putting himself in positions. And now his goals are showing the hard work that he's put in. And yeah, just absolutely dead proud of that guy, because it can't be hard. I mean, you can imagine 20 years old, new country, the media's on your back, everyone hates you, can't wait for you to fail. and then he pops up and starts scoring. Absolutely love that from Rasmus Hojlund. I did want to mention my back four, three of my back four. Obviously, Alex Moreno in that Aston Villa win was exceptional, but right back, centre-back and other centre-back are all Inter players. I watched the Inter-Juve game this weekend and it was fantastic watch. It was only 1-0. I mean, no chances really, just the one own goal. But in terms of a spectacle of top-level, elite-level sport, it was magic. And Pavard, Acerbi, Bastoni as that back three of four, I thought were just incredible, brilliant, fantastic on the ball, won everything in the air. And just never really looked like conceding as well. Juve, a really strong side. Obviously, the two title contenders there. But yeah, I thought those three were absolutely crucial for them. Special mention for Jorginho, because actually, for me, the performance of the weekend, absolutely brilliant. Pretty much been sidelined for a long period of time during the season. And it was very easy for people to see Jorginho where he was after that Euro win, and at Chelsea after a Champions League victory, and say, he's this great player, has a poor bit of form, moves to Arsenal, doesn't get picked, and everyone forgets about him like he never existed. This is still a top level player, and Jorginho's performance against Liverpool, really difficult team, really difficult fixture, and he came through it, not just came through it, but he was the best player on the pitch and man of the match by a mile. So yeah, big shout out to Jorginho. I thought it was fantastic and brilliant to see for him. Right, okay, let's do two lies and a truth. This is the part of the show where I tell you three stories, three crazy stories in the world of football. One is true, two are lies. You have to guess which one is the true story. Starting off with story number one. Impractical Jokers star Joey Gatti admitted he once throat punched multiple Wycombe Wanderers players. Story number two. Wrexham owner Ryan Reynolds reportedly paid for the entire Wrexham team's summer vacation parties that included a swimming pool full of tequila and 12 alligators named Josh. Or is it story number three? Pooh once scored a goal for the National League side York City. Yes, that's three stories. One of those is somehow true. I will reveal the answer at the end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned. Okay, guys, last week and the week before, I have been trying to give you tips for a treble every weekend. And look, we know that some of them are going to lose, some of them are going to win. The idea is that it's profit at the end of the season. Is it profitable? If I get this week's one wrong, then we are verging on the side of not profitable. So it's a crucial week. Last week, we missed out by a goal. I mean, I don't think anyone's calling Wrexham getting beat against Salford, but Salford has hit this weird little patch. Wrexham, for some reason, decided that they could only score one. So let down the treble again, actually, for the second week in a row. But this week it's coming in. This week's selections are Nottingham Forest versus Newcastle, over 2.5 goals. We've got Leverkusen versus Bayern Munich, over 2.5 goals. And finally, Blackburn versus Stoke, both teams to score. £10 on, £38 back. This week comes in and then makes it profitable for all of us. Let's hope it does come in, because look, my credibility is at stake, and if I had any, well, it's about to go. So yeah, a bit scared about that. Okay, let's just recap on the last couple of weeks. I want to talk about a few things that we have spoke about that has caused a little bit of uproar, a little bit of criticism on my part. The first one, I just want to talk about the Saka thing. Saka scoring against Liverpool, showing up in big games. There was a big statistic brought up on Monday Night Football that Jamie Carragher was assessing when he was referencing De Bruyne, and it was across the league's top assists and goal contributions. Vinny Jr., De Bruyne, the likes were up there, and so was Bukayo Saka. Again, the guy's 22 years old and he's still competing at that highest level. And he's, look, the best right winger in the league. Take Salah out, he is, and I don't want to hear any of it. I don't want to hear any of it. He is. We've also got a little bit of controversy over the top 10 wingers. I said there was a good shout for Luis Diaz, and I did want to just mention Luis Diaz in the top 10 wingers in the league. I do think he is up there, but I just want to see a fit Luis Diaz. I want to see a fully fit, full season Luis Diaz, which I feel like I haven't got. Once he is fully fit and firing, gets a full season under his belt, then I think, yeah, he's up there, probably top 5 wingers, to be honest. And no, I'm absolutely not having Jeremy Doku. Please, you only heard about him 5 months ago, so let's not have that debate. There's also the Anthony debate that keeps raging on, and the Anthony thing for me is getting a little bit, it's almost like a religion. Like, you get two factions of United fans. You either hate him or you love him. And actually, I mean, a majority are hating on him. But I don't understand why we're now trying to push a player out of a club. Why we're trying to pretend like he has zero skill at all. I think people just get this in their head that he's a bad player because of the record they see in front of them. And now I'm seeing Brentford goalkeeper Flecken's assist record beating Anthony. Look, I'm not having Anthony as a bad player. I've said this before, but give it time. Just give him a bit of time to get back underway. He's not had a proper season this season. He had a great start to his life at Man United, and everyone saw something in him. Let him get there. He is still young. He is still trying to learn the league as well. I'm not saying that I think we're going to see a 15, 20 goal a season player, but I think we are going to see a very talented winger. So just give him a bit of a break. That's what I'd say. And finally, the thing that actually got a little bit of traction last week that for once on our channel is positive is Lewis Miley. I talked about him in the week. It's so funny how on certain platforms I get a lot of positive comments, and then if I post it on a different one, it's complete opposite. TikTok, I posted it, loads of positive comments, everyone absolutely buzzing to see Lewis Miley get some credit, and then you post it anywhere else, yeah, but he's not as good as this player, oh, he's not as good as this player, he's not as good as Mainu, he's not as good as Connor Bradley. Like, we're not even talking about those players, we're talking about a 17-year-old kid, and I said he's the best 17-year-old around, and then people start naming 18-year-old and 19-year-old players. And I tell you what, Liverpool fans, oh my God, don't you love to make it about you? Anything I put up, probably for the last 6 months in a row, if I say something about a player in the league, Saka, Anthony, Lewis Miley, the first response is, yeah, but Saka's not as good as Salah. Yeah, but Lewis Miley's not as good as Connor Bradley, and they're both similar ages. Yeah, but Anthony's a terrible winger. Look at Darwin Núñez. Fucking go away. It's constant. And I'm not saying it's all Liverpool fans. I just know it's a certain probably portion of fans that are probably maybe just the internet Twitter trolls or TikTok trolls. But Jesus Christ, it's every video. Watch anyone who listens, go ahead to our TikTok page or go ahead to our Instagram page. Read through the comments. Oh my God, I could make anything about Liverpool. If I say, oh, I had super noodles, I just had some super noodles, yeah, but it's not as good as Salah. They're noodles. I'm sick of it. Anyway, that's my little rant over. I thought I'd put that in there. We aren't doing TikTok submissions for a little while, if you're wondering why. We're doing them in 2 weeks' time. Next week is a special episode with guest Will Evans, the man who scored against Man United, the man who's competing to be top goal scorer League 2. He's coming on the show next week, so next Wednesday, so make sure you stay tuned for it. Let's get to wrapping the show up. I'm going to do the 2 lies and a truth answer. This week was pretty crazy. Surely you would have got it. It's pretty straightforward because it's not the other two. But let's see. First story was Impractical Joker's star Joey Gatti admitted he once throat punched multiple Wycombe Wanderers players. Story number 2 was Wrexham owner Ryan Reynolds reportedly paid for the entire Wrexham team summer vacation parties that included a swimming pool full of tequila and 12 alligators named Josh. And then the third story was Pooh once scored a goal for National League side York City. The true story, the correct story, the real story was Impractical Joker star Joey Gatti throat punched Wycombe Wanderers players. I was listening to this story earlier in the week, and apparently the Impractical Jokers team went to Wycombe to do a penalty shootout or something, and then the Wycombe players piled on Joey at the bottom where he was in tremendous amount of pain, couldn't get everyone off, so he started punching and swinging punches at the Wycombe players, and apparently they were all just laughing at him, and then he could barely walk after. Actually, do you know what? I'm going to put the clip in of him talking about it here.
There's a professional soccer team out, I guess in Wycombe, called the Wycombe Warriors, and we filmed a punishment on their field with them, the whole team. And Joe and James had to be in net as the goalies, and the whole team just kept kicking balls.
Professional soccer players drilling balls,
drilling,
dude. So
and they got just jacked immediately and fell down to the ground, and they kept hitting him. Then at the end, he didn't know this, but just I guess I don't know why, but
they did an impromptu.
They did an impromptu pylon,
dog pile.
So
grown men football players, and I'm on the bottom with Murray. And Murray had just fallen, and so I was holding Murray, but I was like sitting up, and this 40 grown Englishmen,
dude,
there it is, a dog pile on me, and I'm on the bottom of this, but my leg is one way and my back's the other way, and I'm on the bottom of that.
So,
are you screaming? I am. I'm screaming to get off me. I even punched one guy in the neck to get him off me. I swear to God, I punched a Wickham right in the throat. He wouldn't get off. He thought it was funny. Like they kept jumping. Watch, it's this one asshole here. He's that one. See him? The one that goes high. I don't know if you can see it. I was on the bottom doing like I was listening to Zombie Nation, like hitting him in the throat to get off me, and they wouldn't get off.
Right, okay. Last feature of the show I want to talk about, and that is the fan captured goal of the week. I'm going to keep doing this. I really want to do this because there's a magic moment. I honestly hate going to a game when someone's got their phone out and they're recording the whole time. I can't stand it. But doesn't half make for good viewing when you watch it after the game. This week, the footage is courtesy of MUFC Chance, and it captures Rasmus Hojlund's goal, the opener against West Ham on the weekend. Have a look. Belting goal, amazing footage, and yeah, just absolutely brilliant. I'm going to try and do one every week because they are brilliant. And the last week's one, I just want to say, the Pedro Neto goal, the reason I put that in there wasn't because it was the best goal, but because of the fan reaction. You can hear the away fans celebrating, and that noise, for everyone who's experienced it, is obviously the worst feeling ever when you just hear the away fans erupt over in a different corner. But it was magical to see, and especially in such a big game. This week, yeah, Rasmus Hojlund, I think the whole football world is pretty happy for him to score that goal, and you could see by his celebration he was dead happy himself. Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in this week. We are back next Wednesday, every Wednesday going forward. Please remember, if you can, just hit the like button. It does help. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and maybe share it to someone if they like football, and just say, look, this idiot is saying Alisson's overrated, go and give him shit. I don't mind. We can take it. We're used to it. Right, guys, see you next Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good week.
Speaking wisdom into my mind. Tell me stories of all that are great. Cherish these days before it's too late.
Right guys, gonna do a little shootout with Sam.
Hello.
Right, so